The Honourable Jody Wilson-Raybould.
This was the big surprise and the big demotion.
As the Minister of Veterans Affairs and Associate Minister of National Defence.
Still in cabinet, but moved from the top tier.
Jody has demonstrated tremendous skill in navigating very complex files.
Knowing how this would look, the Prime Minister was prepared.
I would caution anyone who thinks that serving our veterans and making sure they get the care to which they are so justly entitled from any Canadian government is anything other than a deep and awesome responsibility.
But government insiders see it differently. From politicians to senior staff, Liberal insiders describe Wilson-Raybould as difficult to deal with, not a team player.
We heard rumblings in the past few months that you might be shuffled because of a performance issue. If you had to do it again, is there anything that you would do differently?
Well, I can't imagine where you've been hearing that. I am incredibly proud of the work that I did, supported by an amazing minister's staff and by dedicated and hardworking public servants. We accomplished essentially my mandate letter plus.
To drive that point home, she issued a 2,000-word statement defending her record and outlining her achievements, both legislative and non-legislative, during her years as Justice Minister.
All right, David, it sure sounds from Jody Wilson-Raybould's statement that she isn't exactly happy with this move.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious by now she did not want to leave the Department of Justice, and we spoke to a source close to Jody Wilson-Raybould, and what we were told is that she was in Bali on a beach on vacation when she got the call from the Prime Minister's office about changing jobs, and that she was initially offered the Indigenous Services Ministry, and we're told she turned that down, which is not surprising because she said in the past it would be very difficult for an Indigenous person to take on that role. So after that, the conversations continue with the Prime Minister's office before they landed on Veterans Affairs. Now, we put all of this to the Prime Minister's office. They refused to confirm or deny that she was offered the Indigenous Services Ministry. They say they simply don't talk about cabinet making in that level of detail. But you know, a senior government official went to great lengths to defend Jody Wilson-Raybould and say we should not view this as a demotion. The Department of Veterans Affairs is going to roll out billions in new benefits for veterans this year. The way they're seeing it, she took one for the team, giving up her dream job to take on a tough job because the Prime Minister asked her to.
Okay, interesting. Thanks for your work on this, David. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Wilson-Raybould, though, just one of the changes to cabinet today, taking over for her.
Hi, David Lametti. Do swear.
Montreal area MP David Lametti will step in as Justice Minister and Attorney General. He's a former law professor at McGill University and was Parliamentary Secretary to Innovation Minister Navdeep Bains. As we first reported last night, some of the other big moves. Seamus O'Regan goes from Veterans Affairs to the Indigenous Services portfolio, replacing Jane Philpott. She's the new head of the Treasury Board.